Welcome to CineBites, a cinematic culinary podcast where we experience the wonders and beauty of cinema with our eyes and explore the unique and glorious cuisine in those films with our taste buds. Today we're embarking on an epic journey as we enter the realm of Middle-earth with Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Get ready to explore the rich tapestry of film and food in this extraordinary adventure. So grab your second breakfast, fasten your elven cloak, and let's dive into the world where movies and meals unite in the most enchanting way. Feast your eyes. All right.
Wait, how does it? How does the beginning part? It's like the music part.
I'm just gonna let you have your moment because I don't know.
I mean, the music score for this too. It could be talked about for a long time.
Yeah.
Because this, I mean, it's kind of like Star Wars has its epic, what would you say, orchestra, and then you have Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. As soon as the Lord of the Rings comes on, it's like, oh, I know I'm getting ready for this adventure. Yeah. So
and we're going right into the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
This is going to be an exciting few episodes because actually we're going to be going on a Lord of the Rings marathon.
Woo, woo,
so if you want to embark on that journey with us, you can every week now. You have now an advance notice of the next two episodes of CineBites. We'll be going to Two Towers next week, and then Return of the King on the third week. So it's pretty exciting. I like the idea of doing a marathon like this. Me too. It'll be fun. But one thing that is interesting, and maybe it's not a spicy take, but it's an interesting thing, is that until like a couple weeks ago when preparing for these 3 episodes, I have never seen Lord of the Rings.
Never before in your
Never
life.
before seen. So these are fresh on the mind. Out of all the movies that to never have seen, Lord of the Rings, I guess, is pretty surprising. But this came out when this first one came out when I was 1 year old.
Yeah.
So,
well, and even more surprising because you said you had watched the Hobbit series, right?
Yeah,
or at least
because
one of them.
Hobbit came out when the first one came out 2012, I think.
Yeah.
So I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And so I saw all the Hobbit movies in theaters, and I liked them a lot. But I guess I just never found the time to watch the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah. So you've actually seen it in true chronological order.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Very nice.
I suppose so.
So so this is going to be a fun marathon. It's so there's so much depth in every single movie, and if you're, I guess, a reading snob or someone who says I love the books more than, and that's totally fine. That's
books.
If you do, that's totally fine. But
never read the books either.
Yeah, you would even agree that there is so much to dissect, even in the movie form of it. So to do this in a marathon setting where it's 3, respective episodes, I think is the best way to do it.
Well, with the movies being so long, there's a lot to talk about.
A lot.
And there's even the extended versions. Because I knew I was going to have to watch all 3, I opted for the regular editions because I also feel like watching the regular editions is more so in its true, pure form because that's the first exposure most people had to the movies. Yeah. And then going and seeing it in the theaters, it was the regular cut, not the extended. Those came out later.
Right, yeah.
So down the line, I definitely 100% plan to get into the extended versions, but
it's a time commitment.
It's a time commitment because it's already 3 hours per movie for the regular ones, over 3 hours per movie. Yeah. So there's
extended. I think some of them are 4 hours.
I think on average it averages out to about 3 extra hours of content when you go to the extended. Yeah. So you're going from like 10 hours of stuff to like 13 hours of stuff. Right,
yeah. There's a lot.
So it's insane. But then, of course, you add Hobbit in there now, too. The Hobbit is another 10 hours worth of content. Oh, and now there's the TV show that comes. I've not seen the TV show, but does it come after? I think it comes after the Lord of the Rings movies. Yeah. So it goes Hobbit.
After the trip to Mordor.
The original Lord of the Rings, and then the Rings of Power.
Yeah, in chronological order. Yeah, that's correct.
So
I think.
Anyway, let's get right into the food. There's actually a lot of food to do in this movie. Do you want to do the honors?
Yeah, because with the movie, as you know, if you have seen the movie or if you have read the books, you know that there is a lot of foods that don't exist. So we're trying
there's a number of them.
So we're trying to get the ones that, do parallel with human food or like actual food or that exists and what's in the book. So what we've done and what we've decided to do is kind of create a little charcuterie board. It's not on a board, but it has a lot of items from that.
Let me take a picture real fast.
Yeah, another picture.
We've been slacking on the pictures, but I guess this is mainly just so you watchers can get a closer view of the food. So the food is, fruits, veggies, cheese, meats, bread. Yeah.
It's standard. There's nothing really special about it.
There was nothing to cook. There was nothing to do other than just make it kind of look pretty on the plate. But in the movie, they eat apples, they eat carrots, they have sausage, bacon, different types of bread, different types of cheeses. One thing to note is the tea that we have. So we have a black tea, an Earl Grey tea.
Yeah.
The very beginning of the movie when Gandalf goes to the Shire and meets with Bilbo.
Yeah.
Bilbo's like, "You want any cake?" And he's like, "Just tea, please."
Yeah.
"Tea for me." And he's like, "You sure you don't want any cake? Sponge cake?" "I'll just have tea." And so
he's like, "Bilbo, can you shut up?
Can you shut up about the cake and just give me my tea?"
Give me my tea. Actually, I think it's the same part where he's visiting because Gandalf's a big guy, even in a Hobbit home. So
I'll
when
have the tea.
Yeah. So when he's in the Hobbit home, the part where he runs into the beam. Do you remember that where he hits his head and he's like, "Oh, I could be wrong about this, but I don't think that was planned. I think his reaction was
I
like,
heard something like
I think
that.
his reaction was genuine. He's just like, did not see that beam coming, but it fit out perfectly.
Yeah.
So that was just another funny part of it.
So we're having tea just as Gandalf did. And then.
Are we wizards?
I think so.
We might be, we're Gandalfs.
I feel my beard growing.
Yep. Wait. Yeah, give me a few
I think
years.
you just farted, actually.
I don't think I don't think my beard's coming out any faster.
No, but anyway, we're not eating it yet.
Oh, dig. All right, we got some cheese. We got some
cheese. We got some bread. We got some sausage.
You're going to eat it like an orc.
We got summer sausage.
We got some carrots. Oh, my goodness.
Bread
Can't go wrong with it.
It's solid.
Cheese good.
That cheese is pretty Gouda. Get
Very Gouda.
Because it's Gouda, it's Gouda cheese.
Oh, now
you remember
I get it.
when we bought the cheese?
No, I knew the whole time.
I know. I was just messing with you too.
Look at us, little jokesters. So this is a Fellowship of the Ring. We wanted to start with this because it's the first one.
Wow.
and
Great observation.
And it really sets the stage for what is to come
because it's the first one.
Yeah, it does. And that's usually an origin movie. And as we're talking through this, spoiler alerts, just in case you haven't seen it after all this time. And
like if you're like me.
Yeah, and if you love the book, it's totally fine to love the book and still. I watched the movie and have not read the book, but I've heard a lot of
shame on you
back and forth.
Neither have
I. But I've heard a lot of back and forth with it where people are just like, "Oh, you should have read the books." Blah blah blah. I like seeing action, So I like when people are getting shot with bows and arrows and like seeing the huge battle scenes. But it's if you like the books and like the movie too, that's fine. Just understand that we are solely talking about the movie. We're not going to get into...
I have no opinion on the book.
Yeah.
Because I've not even read it.
Yeah, we're not going to get into the details of, they missed this or they should have included this. This was a crucial part of Lord of the Rings, because the guy in the haystack that everyone talks about where they're like, "Oh, this should have been a scene." And I'm just like, maybe.
I have no reference for what you're talking about. Rumpelstiltskin?
Yeah.
Really?
In haste. Yeah. How'd you know that?
I don't know. Rumpelstiltskin's just like is like a fairy tale thing.
Yeah. He was a crucial part to the Lord of the Rings. That was a huge series.
That's news to me.
Hold on. Let me see. If I'm wrong, and people are probably like shouting through the screen, you're like, you don't know anything about the Lord of the Rings.
You're right. I don't, other than the movies.
Yeah, because I didn't read the book. That's why. Rumpelstiltskin. Fairy tale. Maybe it wasn't him. No. I don't think it was him.
This apple's good.
I'm gonna put the guy left out of Lord of the Rings?
Apples, I feel like fruits in general are hit or miss because obviously you get sweet and sour ones depending on what you get. But that apple is very good.
Okay,
I don't know
it
if you've
wasn't.
had it yet.
It wasn't Rumpelstiltskin. It was Tom Bombadil, but he hid in a haystack. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was one that everyone was like, "Yeah, he hid in a haystack, and he should have been in there." And I'm like, "Okay, cool.
Okay,
that's
cool.
exciting."
Don't
Hiding
care.
in a haystack.
And you know what? We do not care.
Yeah, I really hope I'm not wrong about this, but
You probably are.
Wait, let me
Actually,
see.
you are 100% right.
Thank you.
According to my opinion,
Mm.
in which I have no reference for what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm remembering correctly. He excuse me, he hid in something. Yeah, and also it talks about the feast of Tom Bombadil. I don't know. I don't
feast?
care. Yeah.
Well, then we missed out. We could have done the Feast of Bombadil.
Well, this is a movie podcast, not a book podcast.
Ooh.
So
You're right.
Anyways, that long tangent means nothing to me right now.
Yep.
So we're solely going to go off of the movie. So if you have any book insight, that's fine. I'll listen to it, but it's not really relevant in this setting.
And so essentially, recap of this movie. I watched it for the first time.
It's super fresh on my mind.
It's super fresh on my mind. Honestly, I am just trying to remember what all happens. You get a very good setup at the beginning. There has to be a lot of world building at the beginning of a movie like this.
Yeah. I would say in the first few minutes, they tell you, like, the history.
Yeah.
You know, leading up to the events.
It's kind of a flat.
It's
It's packages a flashback type deal. So they explain the ring. They explain the history behind it. Explain all the good guys and all the bad guys and everything in between. And so then after that, they show up at the Shire. Mm-hmm. That's the next part of the movie. So you're introduced to Frodo and Bilbo and Gandalf. And Gandalf shows up to the Shire to come visit Bilbo, who's an old friend of his, which is because of the Hobbit movies. Mm-hmm. Or the Hobbit books, or the Hobbit previously. So there's already some lore built into this first thing where you're like, okay, who are these characters? That's one thing about this. I think that this movie was actually very good at building the world, but obviously, even not seeing the movie, I knew a little bit about the characters. Yeah, having seen the Hobbit movies too. Oh yeah, so that helped. I think for some people, if they went in blind and knew nothing and didn't read the books, then it could kind of be jarring at first, just trying to discover what happens in this world. But I think in general, they're actually very good at setting it up. Yeah. But anyway, Bilbo has this ring that's essentially cursed him now, and he's he's in love with it. And then
back up a little bit. So originally, back in the war when they were fighting Sauron, the ring had to be destroyed. Mm-hmm. And what's his name? One of the humans, and
he had it and had the opportunity to destroy it.
Right. And what was it? Gilgalad? No, wait. Is that who did it? No.
I don't remember.
I can't remember. So he was supposed to destroy it. Yeah, he could have thrown it in. He's like, no.
But he got greedy. He wanted the power.
Yeah. And what ended up happening was he got killed. He got sent in a river, and that's when
the ring was lost.
The ring was lost for I think they said like 250 years or something like that.
And then
Gollum, Smeagol at the time, who is now Gollum or was Gollum, fished it out of the river.
Spoiler! Wait.
Spoiler alert! Oh wait, yeah.
Spoiler alert for the third movie. I'm just kidding.
Fished it out of the river, and it took over him. He went mad. Mm-hmm. He loved this ring. It was his precious.
But this isn't explained until the third movie, though.
Well, yeah. Well,
no, it is.
No. I know it's explained, but you already know in the first movie that it took over Gollum.
Yeah, you hear about Gollum because
you just don't really see that he fishes it out. You just see that
the whole
he
flashback. You don't see Smeagol in his more human, whatever creature form he is. I guess he's a human. Maybe
he's a hobbit.
He's a hobbit?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh.
I believe Smeagol was a hobbit before he turned into a freak of nature.
I don't think they ever said it explicitly, but I guess that would make sense.
Well, if you read the book.
Yeah. Anyway, but So anyway, we're here at the Shire. Gandalf visits Bilbo. Bilbo essentially wants to retire from his life, I guess, and just disappear into the mountains. And so
he was a hobbit.
He throws a big party for his birthday. And then at the end of the party, he disappears using the ring, but he really just, you can go invisible when you put the ring on. Goes back to his house, takes his stuff, and he just leaves. He leaves the ring with Frodo. And Gandalf didn't know what the ring was, really, and neither did Frodo, and Bilbo barely knew. He just knew that it was his precious. And so Frodo takes this ring, and then now Gandalf, after leaving, is starting to discover that this ring is bad news, and now Sauron's trying to go after that ring because it has... I think part of it was the fact that Bilbo put the ring on at the end of the movie, or at the beginning of the movie.
It's kind of like a signal.
Yeah, once he put it on, it like was a signal. Sauron's like, oh shoot, my ring's over here.
Yeah.
So then they started going after it. And so anytime Frodo or anyone else, I'm pretty sure Frodo's the only one who put the ring on during the 3 movies. I can't remember. I think so. Whenever he put the ring on, it was like a beacon, and they were like, oh, he's here now. And Sauron would figure that out and send his minions. So anyway, and then outside of his window, just perchance, Samwise what do they call him? Samwise the Brave?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know his last name, but the nickname Frodo gives him, Samwise the Brave.
Isn't it like Samwise Gamgee or something like that?
Yep, you're right. He hears this stuff through the window that Frodo and Gandalf were talking about the ring, and Gandalf was like, oh, well, now you're going to be Frodo's partner on this adventure he's going to have to go on.
Yeah.
So they leave, and Gandalf sends them somewhere to find this one person, or actually not find this one person, to go meet him in this other town, because he was going to go to talk to... what's the name of the evil wizard?
Oh, Saruman.
Yeah, Saruman. I couldn't think of it. It's so close to Sauron. It's Anyway, he goes to talk to Saruman. Saruman captures Gandalf, so he's not able to meet them there. That's where they meet Aragorn. And
he was met as Strider, I think was his first name before they knew who
they quickly reveal who he is, and he helps them, and then he kind of leads them along. Then they eventually get to Rivendell, where they meet with everybody else, and there's things that happen along the way where they have to fight different things, but they finally get there, and this is where the Fellowship of the Ring happens. Yeah, where there's
it's like a
Gimli.
It's a private gathering with the dwarfs, the elves, and then humans.
Yeah. And then of course the hobbits are there just because they were thrown into this. Yeah. And Gandalf is also there. But essentially this team forms with Frodo, Gandalf, Aragorn, Legolas, Sam, Merry, Gimli, Boromir, and then what's the other little hobbit's name?
Well, there's Merry, Pippin.
I forgot Pippin. Yeah. So I think that's everyone that's in the Fellowship. Yeah. And they go off, and they're like, okay, we're going to get Frodo to Mount Doom to destroy this ring, because you got to get the ring, throw it in Mount Doom, boom, everything be okay. Sauron will go no more, because he bad guy. Yeah. And then they go off on an adventure, and people start falling off and dying along the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really only one. End. Yeah, really only one.
Yeah,
for the true
I guess
fellowship.
There's a lot of things that happen in between. Well, no. Gandalf dies, quote unquote. Well, and then at the very end, Boromir legit dies. Yeah.
Balrog.
And so so they eventually are trying to get through these mountains, and then Gimli's like, let's go through the mountain. It'll be great. All of my dwarf friends are there, and my family. Yeah. And then they get there, and they're all dead. And it's
through the mines of Moria.
Yeah. And so they get in there, and then they awaken Balrog and all these other goblins.
There's orcs and a cave troll.
Yeah, and orcs and a cave troll. They fight them off. no biggie, easy money for them.
Yeah.
And then this Balrog comes and Gandalf sacrifices himself for the rest of the team.
He sacrificed himself.
But come to find out, he was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he technically...
Spoiler alert, yeah.
Spoiler alert, he technically died, kind of, and then was, like, resurrected as, like, a Gandalf angel.
Gandalf the White. Yeah.
Gandalf angel
yeah.
is, like, what I like to call it. Anyway, so there's a lot of... It's a very long movie, so there's a lot of little, like, adventures that happen along the way.
A lot of side quests.
They stop at, like, this magical tree world where these other elves are. That part of the movie still doesn't quite make sense to me.
Well, they kind of had
Kate Blanchett's character.
Yeah,
which was like
no, it makes sense because Frodo got stabbed.
Oh, that's right.
And they had to go there for healing, and then it was also
that's why they went there.
It was also a time for what was Kate Blanchett's character's name? She was
Galadriel.
Yeah. She also kind of warned Frodo about one member of the Fellowship that was going to betray him.
Mm-hmm.
So he was aware now that Boromir was going to do that.
Side note, that scene with her character when she like...
It's creepy.
It's like... It is actually legit scared me.
Did you jump a little bit?
I didn't jump, but like the weird editing they did on her face, like I don't know.
No, it was
maybe we put a picture of it up.
Yeah, just right here.
Let me.
She's terrifying.
Kate Blanchett in Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
I want to see it. I want to see it myself.
You gonna get scared again?
I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Oh yeah, it's
scary?
with the eyes. It's
Yeah.
with the eyes. Her eyes are like wide open, but then they're also like super bright, but also super dark. I don't know. They did some weird editing with her face that made her look like legit creepy.
And as a kid in 2001, that's really scary.
As an adult in 2023, it was scary for me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, because it was unexpected. In a Lord of the Rings movie, something a little bit creepy because she's just like. All of a sudden, she looks like she's possessed, and she's like, and I'm like, oh, what's happening? So anyway, there's a lot of things that happen here in between, but the overall arching story is Frodo get ring bad, destroy ring, team Avengers come together to help ring go to mountain.
Yeah, and then they
team
split up.
Splits up at the end.
Yeah,
and that's how it ends there.
Because they. They were taking the...
But Samwise Gamgee, he stayed with Frodo. Frodo's going to go by himself.
Because he made a promise.
He made a promise.
And he didn't want to break
He didn't want to break the promise. And he went out into the water and almost drowned trying to... Because Frodo's like, you can't swim, bro. Why are you doing this? And he's like, I made a promise. Literally goes out into the deep water and almost drowns. But... I guess that's a way for Frodo to get him on the boat because Frodo didn't want him on the boat. He's like, I'm just not going to let him die.
Yeah.
So anyway,
he's
a good old Samwise Gamgee.
After watching this for the first time, who's your favorite character?
My favorite character after... It's hard to say, like, per movie. You want my per movie or my overarching favorite character?
I have an overarching favorite character.
I think my overarching... favorite character has to be Samwise Gamgee.
Really?
I think it is because, and I'll get into this in the third movie, but the third movie, I wanted to just punch Frodo. He just made me so annoyed. Now I know the argument is that the ring was like corrupting his mind, making him that way. But kind of the whole purpose of the first movie was to show the greatness of Frodo. I mean, Frodo was very likable in the first movie, how great he is, the fact that this little hobbit could carry such a heavy burden, such as this ring. And he seems to be carrying himself nicely. And then at the last movie, he starts to fall victim to what he was so against in that first movie.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that, it's because of the ring that he's doing that, but it just kind of... I feel like in the third movie, it kind of negated what was in the first movie a little bit. The fact that he's like, Gandalf was so impressed by this little Frodo, the fact that he's doing all of this.
Right.
But then in the third movie, if Sam wasn't there...
Yeah, true.
I mean, come on. I think like overarching, Sam had a very smaller role in the second movie, or in the first movie, much bigger role in the second in the other two movies. So he's my favorite character, I think, overall. I think in this first movie, I don't know. I think maybe Frodo is very likable in this first movie.
In the first one,
because
and then you hate him,
and then I hate him in the last one, and that's just I think that's extra why I hate him in the last one is because he's so likable in the first.
Yeah,
and then you get to the last one, and I'm like, okay, come on, Frodo.
Yeah.
I also love Aragorn's character.
Yeah,
because he's just like all around good guy, but he's also like epic, killing everything.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Because even though Frodo and Samwise are good characters, they don't do a ton of fighting.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice
really
to
don't.
see somebody who does some cool fighting.
Yeah, they really just go on a long hike. And so, but
and they're not very good at it.
Yeah.
At some points.
And that's another thing we can get really deep into, but we don't have to right now. But the film location where they shot, which was in New Zealand, people travel across the world just to walk the trip to Mordor, just because it's such a beautiful shot, you know, like. So that's something to take note of is their walk, even though it was long and treacherous. It was, I mean, a beautiful view, you know, if, you know, why are they complaining? But, but the other thing, and you'll have to rewatch this, this I actually saw more recently is, there's this myth that, and obviously the books could be completely different. So this is only from the movies. There's this claim that Frodo doesn't know Legolas or like doesn't know Legolas's name or anything, because there's only one scene where Legolas and Frodo kind of interact, and it was in the very first movie.
And at the very end of the movie, he doesn't say his name.
Yeah, he doesn't say his name.
At the end of the last movie, because
he says he mouths everyone's name.
Sam.
Yeah.
Pippin. You know.
Yeah. And then
Mary, and then nothing for Legolas.
Yeah, Legolas comes in.
And then Aragorn, Gandalf. He mouths all their names except. You're right.
I didn't notice it.
I noticed that when that happened. I was like, oh well. But yeah, I mean, there's not much interaction with them because first movie there's not a ton of interaction, and as soon as they break off, Frodo doesn't interact with anybody else but Gollum and Sam for the rest of the two movies.
That's true. Yeah,
and
they're a lot on their own for most of the movie. Yeah, or most of the trilogy.
Which kind of brings me to my spicy take a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say my favorite character, but we don't have to.
No. Go ahead.
Okay.
I forgot.
No, I've always said this ever since I watched the 3, and I don't know what it is.
Is this your favorite overarching?
I think he's my favorite in every movie.
Wait, can I guess?
You probably
is it Gimli?
Yeah, I love Gimli.
Gimli's
good, my dude, man. No, so
Gimli is the comic relief character in this movie, which I think is probably why you like him.
But he's also like he simplifies the situation where he's like at the beginning where he's just like, well, this ring needs destroyed. Why don't we just destroy it? And then he tried to like break in and like shattered his axe and everything. But he's also just like straightforward. He's always competing.
He's very grounded, which is very on character, on brand for a dwarf.
Yeah, well, you know.
But no, Gimli is great.
Yeah, and he you know has that those challenges or the competitiveness with Legolas. That's always fun to watch.
When they're counting. Yeah. Is that the second? I think it's in all the movies. Well, at least the second and the third. I think when they're counting how many they killed.
Yeah. Well, and they also had this was back in the day when I did play video games on GameCube. They had the Lord of the Rings video game, and you could play as Legolas or Aragorn or I think Gandalf even and Gimli. I always picked Gimli, and I was always just wrecking orcs. But he's always been my favorite. He's always cracked me up. But and it shows that like. Yeah, I mean, him and the rest of the dwarfs are just tough. You know, you just don't mess with them unless you were in the Mines of Moria.
Being small like a hobbit.
Yeah.
The fact that he's one of the better warriors. I mean, he fights a lot better than all the hobbits.
Well, and the hobbits aren't meant to be warriors.
That's true.
You know, the dwarfs are. They were forced to.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, your spicy.
That kind of brings me into my spicy take a little bit. I guess. I forget what I was going to transition into my head about what was my spicy so the fact that they split off at the end of this movie, I think goes into why the first movie is my favorite, which is my spicy take.
Spicy.
Fellowship of the Ring is my favorite of the 3 Lord of the Rings movies. And
Would you say it's the best of the 3?
Yeah, it's the best of the 3.
Whoa.
My favorite, the best. And I think that's a spicy take because from what I know, from what I've seen of opinions, Fellowship of the Ring is not mentioned very often as people's favorite or the best. Now, this is not a thing against the other 2 movies because we'll get into the ratings of the other 2 movies in the other 2 episodes, but I love the other ones too. It's just that this one was the best to me and my favorite.
Yeah.
And actually, if you look at just based off of Rotten Tomatoes scores, Two Towers is the highest ranked at Rotten Tomatoes, then goes Return of the King, and then goes The Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah. We can talk more about Two Towers, because I have a spicy take of Two Towers once we get to that episode.
That's next episode.
Yeah, we'll talk about that
next
episode.
Tune in for that one. But this one's my favorite, and I think it's because of the Fellowship. The whole gang is together.
Yeah.
I love the interactions between Gandalf and Frodo, and then the interactions between Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli. Now those continue on with the other 2 movies, but the fact that they're all just taking these hobbits under their wings, and but then also not just like treating them like little babies, like they're performing this great team. I'm like, this is awesome. They're about to go on a huge adventure together. Mm-hmm. And these movies had never been spoiled to me before.
Which is
surprising. I didn't know that Gandalf, quote unquote, died in the first movie.
Yeah.
And I didn't know Boromir died in the first movie.
Yeah.
The best thing I know Boromir from was the meme from like 2005.
Yeah.
You can't simply just walk into, and so,
that's true.
So I didn't know he died at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But anyway, the fact that this wasn't spoiled to me, that at the very end of the movie that this team broke up.
Yeah.
And actually, I didn't even know there was a team to begin with because I didn't know what happens in this movie. The Fellowship broke up at the end of the movie, and I'm like, come on. Mm-hmm. Like, they just got together an hour and a half ago, halfway through the movie, and now the band's already split up. Yeah. It's like the Beatles breaking up, and it made me kind of sad. I mean, I understood it from a story point of view, I guess, but I thought it might have been kind of fun to see them all work together in the second movie. Yeah. Because there's 3 different things going on in the second movie. Yeah. There's Frodo and Sam trying to get to the mountain. There's the other 2 hobbits that are with the Ents in the woods. Yeah. And then there's the other team that is trying to figure things out with the humans and them getting ready for this big battle. In Helm's Deep. In Helm's Deep. So I kind of wonder if it would be interesting to have the whole team together in that Helm's Deep battle. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the hobbits would have survived.
Yeah, I don't know if they would have done much.
But but I think that could play. I mean, I guess you kind of get a little bit of that feeling in the third movie because there's the big battle and the 2 hobbits are there and they're fighting. Yeah, right. But I think that kind of could have been interesting in the second movie. Yeah. But anyway,
well, I think part of the sense of it is that even though you have, several skilled characters, such as, one of the strongest warriors who was an elf, one of the strongest dwarf warriors who were leading this. So you had like kind of essentially an A team to lead this group on an impossible quest. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe if I haven't even read too much into the symbolism of but maybe the symbolism of it was that, even though you have the best of the best, not everything is going to go according to plan. Yeah. And maybe that was the point.
It was looking very bleak in Helm's Deep until...
Because you lost your hope through Gandalf. And I think that's, once Gandalf was quote-unquote dead, the whole team was just kind of defeated. You're essentially taking
out...
And
I think that might have been one of the reasons they split up is because of Gandalf's death. Because it wasn't long after that the they're not the orcs, are they the orcs? They're like the
Which
big
ones?
The ones that are like were birthed from the ground.
Yeah,
they were the big ones. You know what I mean?
Were those the ones that were hunting them down? Like find the halflings, those characters. So it can get kind of confusing because
there's different types of.
There's
creatures.
different types. Yeah. So that was I forget the exact name. There's a specific name, but those were a orc goblin hybrid. Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember the name of them.
Yeah. The names are really strange, and if you read the books, I mean, you know exactly what we're talking about.
But what was I going to say?
You were talking about, you did the spicy take, and then we were talking about the Fellowship breaking apart, and I was saying why I think the Fellowship was broken apart was kind of a symbolism of losing the hope with Gandalf, and then, but I mean, and that's a big, because if you read more into this and kind of have an understanding of who J.R. Tolkien was, you know that, you know, his background is, you know, he's a Christian author. So a lot of the symbolism in the movie can be discussed through, like, you know, I guess you could say Christian symbolism.
A lens.
Yeah, a lens. Yeah. And I think that Gandalf being that, I guess in a way, kind of maybe a savior kind of character,
a Jesus figure.
Yeah, maybe. And I'm sure people have dug way deeper into this than we have, but maybe that was kind of the thing. Is like you lose that hope. Your faith is almost completely destroyed. Where do you go from there? And, and I think
or maybe it's kind of, I mean, an overarching theme, or maybe. Gandalf is more of a god figure. Aragorn being more of like a Jesus.
Could be.
The king returning. Yeah. All hope was lost when Gandalf died, even though his presence is still there in the second and third movies. But you really start to lean on Aragorn in the second and third movies.
Right.
Kind of like Jesus.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. I want to see.
I'm sure that people who have read the books and know a lot more about that know a lot of the symbolism, just, you know, from him writing those books, definitely at a Christian point of view. I'm sure there's a lot of things that you can dig through that are symbols for other things in the Bible and such.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But this movie, I feel like when I look back at all three of the movies, this one just gives me the most feel-good feel, because it's not too heavy. Of a movie in general. The next two movies get a little bit heavier because there's a lot more war and a lot more death and a lot more craziness that happens.
Yeah.
So this one's very lighthearted. Not lighthearted. I mean, I guess it's just not as heavy. We have a great team that's together, and it's just fun. And a lot of things are introduced. The characters are introduced, but they're introduced in such a good way that by the end of it, you know them all very well. And you're excited to see where it goes. And I was excited to see where it goes for them all together. Because I love ensemble-type films and movies.
Yeah, like Avengers or something like
just
that.
some, like, you know, ensemble-type things. And even though all these characters didn't have their own separate movies beforehand, they all came from different, you know, they start to snowball and the team gets bigger and bigger, and then I'm like, oh, awesome, now they're all together, now they're this unstoppable force. And then they just break up because for petty reasons, I suppose. It wasn't even because, I mean, they could have fought those orc things. I know that was part of it, is that they were on their trail, as to why they split up, but they were mostly splitting up because of the temptation of other people such as Boromir for the ring. Because Boromir specifically was really wanting the ring, and it was kind of corrupting his mind, and he was trying to get it from Frodo.
Right.
And who's to say that wouldn't have happened to any of the other characters like Gimli and Legolas and Aragorn.
Right.
So I think that is ultimately why they split up, but I'm just kind of like, come on.
Yeah.
I wanted to see them all go together and have all these great adventures, and they still do have adventures, but it's all separately.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's one thing that I don't think I can get over in the other two movies, is because I want the whole team back together, and they never get back together until the very end of the last one, and when nothing happens. When they're just kind of like, yay, we did it.
I don't know Legolas's name.
I don't know his name.
No, and that's I mean, and that's definitely just the the way the story was crafted, and I feel like that's you want to see the team stay together, and I personally think it's cool to see the different elements of once the team has split up.
Yeah, and I understand that too, but I wish we would have seen maybe them come back together in the third movie, because there was a split up in the second movie, and a lot of bad things happened in the second movie. The big battle that they eventually did win, but I mean a lot of people died and a lot of bad things happened and blah 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 blah. I kind of wish that we maybe would have seen the team get back together at the very end. Because it was just kind of, I think one thing about the last movie, it was just kind of annoying to me, the interactions of Frodo, Sam, and Gollum, is because something as small and as not insignificant, but small as Gollum is like hindering them from just getting there. I mean, he's helping in some way, but he's also hindering, and it's just like, if Gandalf were here, this wouldn't be happening.
Right.
You know what
true.
I mean?
Yeah,
so
true.
I'm like, if Sam weren't here, then Frodo would have been dead.
Yeah, that's true.
a few times he would have been dead.
I feel like there's several times where Frodo could have died.
It's pretty frustrating, at least for me, when watching it. And I understand it, and at the very end, it all levels out, I suppose. But I think that's why the third one, for me, it's some people's favorite movie. I think the first one is my favorite because of the ensemble, because of the lovable characters. There's still great action, all the world building. You get invested in this. Yeah. This movie series, my argument for this being my favorite is this movie series would be nothing if it weren't for the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you don't set up a world as well as they set up the world, then the rest of the movies would have been ruined.
Yeah, true.
Because, I mean, the other two movies could have been just the same, but if they didn't have the right setup and character development in this first movie, then the other twos would have been nothing. Yeah. It would have just ruined it because no one would want to go back and see the other movies. Yeah. I think the fact that after watching this first movie, after sitting down and watching a 3-hour movie and it's like 1 a.m, I'm like, I need to watch the second one immediately. Yeah. I want to see what happens. Yeah. And if you have to have, especially with long movies, you have to end a movie in a series with that feeling or no one's going to want to come back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Even if the movie is great, if it doesn't set up a world and doesn't have a great ending like it does, or at least a cliffhanger ending like it does, then nobody's want to come back and be like, what happens to these characters? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, I really don't have anything negative to say.
But it's not your favorite, though.
It isn't. No. Well, I think, and maybe this is just kind of just a me thing, but I like the violence.
That's true. I mean,
I like this the battles and the war. And
the second and the third one have much more fighting. Yeah. And at least bigger fight scenes. Yeah. And I will say that those are the better parts of those movies, at least to me. This movie having less action has to focus on character. Yeah, and has to focus on adventure less than action. Yeah, and I think some that's people, why I like it.
Yeah, and some arguments that I've heard in regard to that is that with the less action, some people feel like the first movie could have been a little slower or the pacing could have been a little off. Yeah, because it is a 3-hour long movie, so if you don't have something, but I mean, this is, I don't agree with that. I think this is an exception to that because with how long the runtime is, it still keeps you focused, engaged, because you're like you said, it sets you up for what's going to happen next, what's going to lead you to the next point, and so that I would disagree, but I think just because I do like the action more so from the other two movies, this would be my least favorite of the three.
You know what I just realized is we didn't rank the food.
Oh.
So we need to get into food rank and then movie rank.
Yeah, we'll go from food rank straight into movie rank. So if you want to write down your ideas for the food, I will
we
say
can just
honorable.
do both on the board.
Sure, honorable mention is that this, and I'm reading this right off of the my laptop. This movie was nominated for 127 awards. Nominated.
Dang,
It
boy.
won 125.
Dang, boy.
And won 4 Oscars.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's rated.
Isn't this series like the most awarded movie series of all time?
I think so. Yeah. Because I think there's like a famous picture of Peter Jackson holding all the Oscars, and you can probably put it here on the screen too. But I mean, yeah, it won an insane amount. And this, according to IMDb, I know I usually read this source a lot more, and you read the Rotten Tomatoes. But according to IMDb, this is the top-rated movie at number 9.
Wow,
and
of all time?
Yeah, of all time. And this is just the third adaptation of the movie.
So does that mean that the other two are above it because they have higher ratings?
There's only one above it, and it's the Return of the King. The Two Towers is at 13.
Oh.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're in the top, if you're a trilogy in the top 15, so that's
all time in IMDb.
So this, I mean, this isn't a spicy take. I'm sure a lot of people share this opinion. This, in my opinion, is the best trilogy to ever be created. Out of any movie, this is the best trilogy. And I don't care what you have to say about it.
Well, I'm thinking because I never really thought of that before, because whenever anybody asked me what the best movie trilogy was, because we've talked about this before between just us.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings has never been in consideration for me because I had never seen it. But now that you're mentioning it, now that I'm thinking about it, you might be right.
I know I'm right.
I think you might be right.
Yeah.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I mean, look at the stats. Look at the stats, right?
I would say, yeah, if we're saying definitively the best trilogy of all time, I agree. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to pinpoint a favorite trilogy. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'd call this my favorite trilogy of all time, because there's a lot of other movies that like nostalgia and other things play a factor in for me. This movie, not growing up on it and watching it fresh, is definitively probably the best trilogy ever.
Yeah.
But not my favorite trilogy ever, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Did
you write yours down?
Yeah, I got food and film.
Me too.
So the food, I'm going to cover my film review. I'm going to give the food a 5.0.
Oh,
I just put it right in the middle because it's not bad, but it's not, I mean, it's just fruit, veggies, bread, cheese, and meat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but I'll eat it.
Yeah. I like snacky foods.
I gave it a 5, and then I gave the movie a 9.3.
Nice.
So
mine, the food is 6.8.
Okay, so you went pretty.
Yeah, I like charcuteries. I like snacking on meats, cheese, veggies, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then for the movie, Fellowship of the Ring at 9.
9. Yeah, I gave it even higher. That's interesting.
Well, you said it was your favorite out of the trilogy.
That is true.
Yeah.
I guess I should note that to make sure the other two are below that.
Yeah, you'll have to remember that for next time.
So, yeah, I'm excited to go into I mean, obviously, it's kind of difficult when talking about a trilogy like this, all of it's intertwined. This movie, obviously, focusing on the Fellowship of the Ring. Obviously, we talked about both movies, or all 3 movies, a decent amount. But I'm really excited to go into the next 2. I think I have some interesting spicy takes for a couple of the other ones, and some interesting things to talk about because like I said, this one's my favorite. I got nothing really too bad to say about it.
Yeah.
I love, we mostly were just talking about character and just the overarching plot and everything. But just the cinematography and the special effects in this movie, really,
and the makeup design,
and really,
I mean, those are all that won the Oscars.
Really, yeah, and really, in all of the movies, and actually, CGI technology improved year after year on these. So really, technically, the first one has the worst CGI,
Yeah, technically.
When it's not even bad. I will say it when parts are very CGI heavy, it does look dated. But it holds up though. It's definitely dated and you can tell, but it definitely still holds up. And I think that's because they didn't lean too much on it. They focused more on doing actual practical set design and actual practical makeup and used CGI to just be a cherry on top of what is already there in camera, which I think is obviously what you had to do at the time, and that I honestly wish more filmmakers would do today, because I think that CGI is a great tool, not a means to an end. Because a lot of nowadays it's like, okay, we want the super epic shot, let's just get the CGI team to just make the entire thing. And a lot of times it would be great, it would be awesome, but then if they fall short, then it falls flat on its face.
Right.
Versus something like this, they have to make things practically. They have to make miniature sets. They have to have great makeup artists, great costume artists. Go to practical locations, go to New Zealand and actually film this movie.
Right.
Doing stuff like that, I think makes the difference, because this movie and all of the Lord of the Rings movies, even though they're so fantastic in the sense of the fantasy, they're so fantastic and they're so magical. The movies feel so grounded. You feel emotions, you feel the risk, you feel the weight of situations, and I think a lot of that is due to the cinematography, how it's filmed, what the characters, their makeup, the way everything looks. And obviously the story and the writing has to do with that as well.
Oh, yeah.
But I think a lot of that, all of the parts just perfectly came together to put this together. If one thing fell short, then it wouldn't be as good of a trilogy as it is. Yeah. And it's just something happened and everything came perfectly together. And it's actually just insane to think about it.
And that was I think, even challenging part for Peter Jackson and his crew to really get the story down, because there were, like a lot of people who have read the books will say, that you had to strategically pick the parts you wanted to keep in the movie because you couldn't put everything in the movie. So I think that's part of it too. So I think their ability to honor the book for the parts that they want to keep in the film, but then at the same time creating a good quality film, So I think that's and
because it could have been so bad.
Right.
And there have been so many bad book adaptations of different things.
Yeah.
Some people who are big fans of the Lord of the Rings may even say the Hobbit movies are bad. I'm not one that shares that opinion. I actually thought the Hobbit movies were very good. Not as good as Lord of the Rings, but I think a lot of people going into the Hobbit were expecting another Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Now, obviously, to be fair, it's an obvious 1-to-1 comparison.
Yeah.
But they're not as bad as many people say it is. I actually enjoyed the Hobbit movies.
When it's interesting, they made a trilogy for the Hobbits. Hobbit was only one book.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting.
And,
so maybe that's why they didn't like it so much, is because they fabricated a lot, and
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. They're mad that they left out a lot of stuff for Lord of the Rings, but then they do the opposite.
Yeah, with
for
the
Hobbit. And they're like, okay, we'll just give you more.
Yeah,
we'll give you everything and more. And then they're like, well, you just made all this up.
Just can't make people
happy.
happy.
It's like you can't make everybody happy. I actually really enjoyed the Hobbit. And actually, one thing I thought this was kind of a fun little thing is at the beginning of the movie, Bilbo was like telling stories of his adventures. And obviously, these are the adventures that take place in The Hobbit. I had seen The Hobbit, but not Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. And then he's talking about these big, whatever they're called. I think it's the same thing that they fought when they were underground, the big one.
Oh.
What is it called?
The cave troll.
Yeah, the big troll.
Yeah.
He goes up against some trolls in the woods, and then they get turned to stone.
Oh, yeah.
And then later on he's explaining that story to these little kids, and later on in the movie, they don't even mention it, I don't think, but in the background you see these 3 giant trolls that are made out of stone.
Yeah.
And I thought that's a really cool touch.
Oh, yeah.
That, obviously, I'm sure that in the books it was mentioned, but I don't even feel like they mentioned it in the movie. They're just in the woods and they see that in the background.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he was talking about that, and I remember it because it's in the Hobbit movies.
Right, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But anyway.
You ready for... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, this is an exciting thing.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. I had never seen it before. Now I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
I will
that's
say.
good. And I mean, we're already kind of reaching the limit of what our normal episodes are. And this is just the first movie. And I imagine we could talk a lot more about this movie. And we can talk a lot more about every single movie. So it may not give it complete justice to do it only in 3 parts. But we could even come back and revisit if we wanted to. But it just shows how much of an impact this story, I would say, because not only on film, which it made a huge impact, but in literature, it made an even bigger impact.
Yeah, true.
And so I think something to note is that it's has a lot of depth to it that we could dive into. Obviously, it's you and I just kind of chatting about a movie that we like, and but. I have been excited about talking about this, and then I'm definitely going to be as excited, if not more, for the next 2 to come. So, stay with us as we get into our next 2 episodes. But but right now we're gonna.
Hopefully, you love the Lord of the Rings. If not, carve out 10 hours of your schedule, please.
Yeah,
and
watch
them.
Definitely check it out. I mean, it's great. At least give it a chance. And if you don't like kind of the fantasy side of it, at least admire it for the story and for the filmmaking.
Yeah. Are we ready for the Cine-Snack?
Ready.
Cine-Snack.
Ready. Cine-Snack. So 2 minutes on the clock.
2 minutes on the clock. Let me write down 3 hints just so I can, I don't want to slow you down. My hints are going to be...
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not going to say them out loud.
If you want to.
I mean, I guess you're going to hear them eventually.
Yeah.
Actually, I need to remember what happens. I mean, I mostly do, but...
Well, you might need to look that part up, too. Get some hints.
I have the movie up.
Okay. All right.
So, and then... I don't want to... There's one hint I think it's a dead giveaway, so I'm not going to do it.
I mean, you could if you want.
Okay, that'd be helpful. I might, if I don't feel like you're close to it, I might say it as the last hint.
Okay,
but
go
I have
for it.
Options. Do you have your timer up?
Yes, I do.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, let me show everybody.
Okay.
My handwriting's terrible. I don't know if you can see it, but it is there. Okay.
Ready. 3, 2, 1. All right. Say 90s movie.
It is not. Wait, let me pull it up.
80s movie.
Nope.
2000s movie.
It is in the 2000s.
2000s comedy.
No.
Drama. Is it fantasy?
No.
Oh, is it based off a true story?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Early 2000s or late 2000s?
It's later.
Later.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess around the time that Blindside came out. Is it a sports movie?
No.
Is it so drama? Is there a male lead role? Is he white? Is there a love interest?
Not really. I mean, technically, I think he's married.
Okay.
But I don't think it's. Yeah.
Okay. Clue.
My first clue is mustache.
Mustache.
I'm starting with vague clues, and then they're
very
a little bit
vague. Who is mustache? Second clue.
Second clue is bowling.
Bowling, mustache. Oh, there's a couple.
How much time
is bowling like the main thing?
No.
Oh, okay. Bowling is part of it. Is there animals?
No.
Music?
Nope.
And you said based off a true story or not?
No, it is not. As far as I know, I don't think so.
Is the lead guy white?
You already asked that.
Oh, I did ask that. Oh, no. Okay, clue.
The last clue, I'm going to say, I don't want to give it away. I'm going to say fire.
Fire?
I have another clue, but I just don't want to if we get to the end, I might give it to you.
Okay.
Extra clue, but I don't know if I want to, though.
Fire, mustache, bowling.
How much time?
I think 10 seconds.
Oh, oil. That just gave it away, I think. Maybe not. I just gave you an extra hint. You're welcome. Because there's only few seconds left.
Yeah. Fire, oil. And you said 2000s?
Yeah, 2000s.
But a bowling movie? Or you said that bowling is in it?
It's in the movie, but it's not a huge part of the movie. I kind of went vague up into more specific on my clues. So it's part of the movie, but it's definitely not the main focus of the movie. As those clues go on, the more significant they are.
So mustache.
Mm-hmm.
So mustache. So, when...
Is this going to be another Cinesnacks dub for me?
Maybe.
I don't know. You might be close, but...
So when Daniel Day-Lewis was wearing the mustache in There Will Be Blood, he kills Paul Dano's character with a bowling pin, and then there's a fire in it because the oil that he owns catches on fire.
Okay.
So my guess, I don't know. It's a shot in the dark, but There Will Be Blood.
Jerk. Were you just pulling my leg this whole time?
Well, at least once you said oil, it did give
I
it
knew
away.
It was giving away.
Did give it away.
I shouldn't have said it.
Those are really good clues, though.
Yeah. Would you have gotten it with just fire, or were you?
The oil really helped me, and I would have had to
have said it.
I would have had to really dig into it to think about it, but the oil did set it off.
Dang it!
And honestly, I mean that was a good one, but I don't know how many people have actually seen it because it wasn't super mainstream when it came out.
But man, that's a good movie.
Oh, it's a good movie. I love Daniel Day-Lewis. He's so good.
Paul Dano.
Paul
in the
Dano's.
movie.
Paul Dano's great too.
He's insane in that movie.
I do want to see the what's the movie that came out? Dumb Money. That came out this year. I want to see it. Look up the trailer.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's based off
I'm
of the.
I'm so mad that I gave you that clue.
Dumb Money. It's based off of the events that happened last year when they shot up GameStop. Yeah. I want to see it. It looks really good.
And it has Paul Dano in it, right? Is that what you mean?
Yes. Yeah.
He's I shouldn't have given you that clue.
That's okay.
Because I felt bad for you. You only had 10 seconds left, and I'm like, I don't think he has it.
Well, I think I probably eventually would have gotten around to it, but I mean, the oil definitely.
When you were like Daniel Day-Lewis, with the
he
mustache,
wore a mustache, and then
I'm like, dang it, he got it. Yeah, because I was like, mustache, it could be anything.
Oh yeah,
it's trying to be vague.
I immediately thought Hot Rod, but I was like, wait, we reviewed Hot Rod, so we want to be Hot Rod.
Bowling is just that last scene.
It is, yeah, in his house.
So I'm like, it has this part, but it's not huge.
So good.
Then I'm like, okay, movie. Something about fire or oil, but I'm like, oil is the whole movie.
Yeah.
And there's fire.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I saw.
I just did it to myself, didn't I?
I saw a video where it's like, when your kid is looking at a calendar or a toy calendar for Christmas, and it has the There Will Be Blood scene where he's like looking at the map at different oil spots, and he's like, why don't I have that? He's like, what is that? Why don't I have that? Yeah. So what's your punishment?
So the punishment. So in Lord of the Rings, Boromir dies at the hand of a bow and arrow.
Oh.
Of the big orc goblin trio.
Okay.
Or not trio. Combination. Okay. So I have a bow and arrow.
Oh, nice.
And give me a second. It's under the table here.
I was actually going to ask you, or I was thinking when we did the Nacho Libre episode, I was thinking about using a bow and arrow to shoot you because but since we did the ostrich, it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
But
so I have a bow and arrow here.
Yes.
And
I got to shoot you in the chest.
And you get to shoot me. I was going to say in the back, but I guess he does get shot in the chest in the movie.
Yeah. Just cover your face. You threw a football at me.
That's true. So I guess we'll do it right here.
Yeah.
So this thing, let me show you. It's actually broken.
Oh.
But you gotta hook.
Can I do it like this?
Yeah. So you gotta hook this into this, and then you also gotta hook it into that one.
Oh, I see.
Makes sense. You'll have to. It was broken, so I had to do a little bit of a repair, and then pull it back.
So like this.
This is gonna
We're really close range, so maybe I can step back a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand up. Actually.
Okay. You ready?
No, I'm not ready.
Okay. All right, give a countdown.
Okay.
Well, say 3, 2, 1, shoot, okay?
You do it.
You can do it.
No, you do it.
Okay, I'll do it. All right, wait. Is
Wait,
it just like
this
this?
is gonna hurt. This thing shoots hard. Don't pull it back too far.
Is that okay right there?
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll
Cover
see.
your face.
Oh yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Okay,
that was a worse one.
That was bad. Do another one. I didn't even feel it.
Let me do it one more time.
No. Please don't hurt me.
No.
Oh, wait, I'm still.
Yeah, sorry. Hold on. This really is broken.
It is broke.
Okay.
It's supposed to have one of those black. It's supposed to have one of those rubbery things on the top one too, but it broke. So.
There we go. Oh. All right. Close your face.
What? Come on. Okay.
Hold on a
one
second.
More try.
Yeah, one more try. I'm aiming right at you.
You completely missed me that time.
I'm aiming right at you. Hold on. All right, this has got to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. That didn't even hurt.
It didn't even hurt.
Well, you survived from what Boromir survived.
Okay, wait. Can I shoot you with it? Can I shoot you with it?
Just shoot the walls. Do the walls. See if it... I mean, I pull that thing back, and everyone watching can...
It may be because it's broken.
Yeah. Let's see.
If maybe...
Can I just throw the thing at you?
Maybe. Let me see if I can get it better.
All right. Well,
maybe not.
Yeah. Man, this is...
I don't want to be here.
This is great content.
Great content.
All right, let's... Maybe I'm pulling too far back.
Just doing it bad.
Yeah, let me try it one more time. I think I'm pulling it back. Like, let's try it. Okay, close your eyes. Whoa!
Now don't do it as hard as I did.
I won't.
Because man,
there's a hole in the wall.
I just put a hole in the wall.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Man, all right, ready?
Oh no. Oh,
there we go.
It still wasn't. It wasn't too bad, but that was fine.
I think that was about as hard as you did it.
Yeah.
But there you go. You're shot. You're dead now.
I should have done it dramatic.
Yeah. Fall to your knees.
Oh no! Yeah, he falls to his knees.
Yeah.
Get Frodo to the mountain.
Take him to Mordor.
Take him to Mordor.
Well, as we bid farewell to this epic episode of CineBites, where we've traversed Middle-earth and delved into the Fellowship of the Ring through the lens of film and food, we hope you've enjoyed this culinary and cinematic adventure as much as we have. Mm-hmm. Just as the journey of Frodo and the Fellowship is filled with wonder, our exploration of food and film is a feast for the imagination. Thank you for joining us today. Stay tuned for more cinematic flavors in upcoming episodes. Make sure to follow us on YouTube and Instagram and hear our podcast weekly on all major podcast platforms. Until next time, bon appetit and happy viewing.